back straightaway, he'll attain a speed of almost 215 miles an hour. He moves up, attempts to pass an automobile. However, he doesn't get quite all the way in, so he must back off going through turn 3, of course, into turn 4. As he leaves turn 4, you'll see him make another attempt to pass an automobile. That's one of Jack Brabham's cars. He moves down to the inside of the racetrack.
In short, Roger, there's frighteningly little margin for error on this race course.
Well, there certainly is no margin for error, actually even a tiny slip.
One and head into turn 2. This is where I spun when I first came to Indianapolis in '66. Not a pleasant experience. Now you go through turn 2 and you head towards the backstretch, this long 3,000-foot backstretch, where the driver looks at his gauges, the tyre profiles, and where perhaps he can pass, because they draft along this stretch doing speeds of up to 230 miles an hour. They slip past going into turn 3 here. Passing the car on the inside as they commit themselves to turn 3. It used to be very bumpy, but the racetrack was resurfaced back last year. You get close to the wall between 3 and 4 and then commit the car to turn 4. A dramatic corner. I also hit the wall here in '67. Not a pleasant experience either, but as you go down this front stretch again, 3,300 feet in length, people on both sides of you, a tremendous feeling of speed as you go down there. You take your pit signals from the left-hand side there as the crews give you your information.
With the view from our race cam.
All right, let's try to see if it's a handling problem. Typically, if it was, Jim, you'd see his right hand, his gloved hand there, pushed way over on the wheel, much more than it is. That would suggest severe understeer, they call it, where the front wheels don't really bite through the turn properly. But no, it isn't that. The car seems to be handling fine. I mean, I don't see any of the telltale signs of a very bad handling car. Danny seems to be driving smoothly. Obviously, he's not just cooling it. It's very bad that he's this far back. It recalls, in fact, last year when he did not have the car handling well at first at all and had to come on.
Ray Hall out of the race. Jeff Brabham is also out of the race. So this is the only one of our 3 race cams available for this picture.
Well, you know, Jim, the one thing that the race cam does not show is that here in the turns there are enormous side loadings on the driver that really are trying to tear that car out of the groove that you see little Al driving and out into the wall. That's the one thing we really don't feel as we watch this race cam.
And one thing you can't see, Sam, is on the left side of that helmet, there's a strap that goes from the helmet down around the shoulder and holds his head straight. But it also lets you sing right down to the white line again and literally drifting right out to the north short chute wall and into turn 4. And important again how fast we come off of this turn, because they're going to run approximately 230 miles an hour down the front straightaway. The racetrack is smooth as glass right to the start and finish line.
Let's take a ride around this magnificent circuit with Al Unser Jr., currently 4th.
The strongest report that we're hearing from the track here, though still labeled only as high-grade rumor, is that within the next few days, perhaps even tomorrow night, that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway may announce a new engine formula, and that formula will be non-turbocharged engines, a 3.5-liter formula, which would...
Course of this race, and this race is only a little bit more than halfway old. The guy's capable of learning faster than anybody I've seen in a long time.
Well, Bobby, we understood that in comparison with Alain Prost, who has taken over Nigel's seat on the Williams team in Formula One, Patrick Head, the engineer there, offered this comparison. He said, Nigel is very accommodating. He'll put up...
You're on board with Raul Boesel. Robbie Gordon is lined up just behind him. This is a battle for 4th place.
You can almost watch his steering wheel as he goes through the corners, Paul, and he's really handling good. He's not pushing, and he's not loose. You can watch a good, steady amount of pressure. Watch when he rolls in to the turn here. Good, steady pressure on the hand. No.
Now see him fighting the wheel a lot more. It's jerking around a lot more. I don't know what, that's an indication. Maybe we got a G-force here with Lyondike as compared to the Delar that Steffen's in.
Firestone tires on our Lyondike's car.
At the end of the backstretch.
Obviously, 210 mile an hour is not what it's going to take to win this race. The leaders are all running between 212 and 214, so he's about 4 mile an hour off the pace.
We have had 5 leaders so far. Greg Ray has led 23 laps. Robbie Gordon 22, Mark Dismore 11. He's a current leader. Andretti led 5. Tony Stewart led 1, and so did Ari Lyondike.
And I was going to say, got to be the only ones that don't like this weather. It is perfect at Indianapolis. Back on board the Pennzoil car with Sam Hornick. He's chasing Thomas Scheckter. There's the Firestone telemetry. Just watch it as he cuts into the corner.
10%. Off the throttle, a little bit of dirty air in front of him from the car ahead. It's actually turbulent. It's like following a tractor trailer on the highway. You get buffeted around and actually shakes the car around. Does not feel confident keeping your foot on the gas.
You saw him go from nearly 3 G's positive in the corner to actually a negative G.
And that's because when
The guy lives the rock star life, but he is smooth.
he is through the first turn and downshifts in the short chute to get the car coming off the turn, coming off turn 2, going down that long 5/8 mile straightaway we talked about, back up using his right hand, getting the gear, keeping the engine in the power band. 10,300 RPM is the maximum. Back down, going in through turn 3 now. And
about a lot this morning. Even when you have a car that's not right, you have to find a way to find the correct rhythm with that car so that you can make it to the next pit stop. Looking at her throttle position, she's not quite there yet.
She finally was able to keep it down through turn number 4. Across the...
10 more laps as you see him changing gears from 50.
Start thinking about
Still thinking about?
No, he said start
thinking about, but then he got busy in the corner.
Yeah.
Those dang corners came up again.
You can see the fuel trim, and he's changing the weight jacket with his left hand. With that thumb, you saw him changing the fuel trim by that silver knob that he did.
Something go under the tire, that's got to concern you as a driver, doesn't it?
It does, and if it gets in the way of the radiator, Scott, you're in trouble because the temperature will just start creeping up.
See him working the steering wheel there, that turbulent air off the car in front. You heard him get off the gas. As we rode with him just a moment ago, you saw him take his left hand, push the button. It's either for the drink bottle, taking a drink of water, or possibly the blue and white one just in front of him. Watch this. He'll come off of turn 2. He seems like he works well through this area here, but he starts to lose a little bit down there in 3 and 4. He doesn't have enough of a run out of any of these turns to be able to get up and make the pass before he gets to the next end of the racetrack.
Let's not forget, Andretti's getting a draft from the car ahead of him, so...
He made tons of changes in that 90-minute practice, and he hadn't made any all month. Same thing, I talked to Sebastian Bourdais yesterday. He was concerned. He had a bad day on Friday, but I said to him, hey, as much as it was a sudden bad day on Friday, it could be a sudden good day on Sunday.
And Rossi, as you can see, is the best placed of the... At the first 5 races of the season. Being there, listening, being part of the fabric of the team. You know, I think he really feels, Lee, that he's got a point to prove. You know, he was let go from Penske. It was all kind of kept quiet, and he didn't know what he was going to do. And then all of a sudden, he was kind of just pushed off into pasture, into a sports car program for a couple years. Didn't really want to do that, but, you know, he was under contract and just did it. He wanted to get back in Indy cars. This is his first time in a team other than Penske, and now he's out running his old team. I think he likes that.
Watch that Firestone telemetry.